Remember that the stock market is a manic depressive. Should you find yourself in a chronically leaking boat, energy devoted to changing vessels is likely to be more productive than energy devoted to patching leaks. The most important thing to do if you find yourself in a hole is to stop digging. Aware the investment activity that produces applause. The great moves are usually greeted by yawns. Aware the investment activity that produces applause. The great moves are usually greeted by yawns. Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. Never invest in a business you cannot understand. If returns are going to be 7 or 8%, and you're paying 1% for fees, that makes an enormous difference in how much money you're going to have in retirement. In the business world, the rearview mirror is always clearer than the windshield. Time is the friend of the wonderful company, the enemy of the mediocre. All there is to invest is picking good stocks at good times and staying with them as long as they remain good companies. Successful investing takes time, discipline, and patience, no matter how great the talent or effort. Some things just take time. You can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. If you aren't thinking about owning a stock for 10 years, don't even think about owning it for 10 minutes. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. If a business does well, the stock eventually follows. On the margin of safety, which means don't try and drive a 9,800-pound truck over a bridge that says it's, capacity 10,000 pounds. But go down the road a little bit and find one that says capacity 15,000 pounds. The key to investing is not assessing how much an industry is going to affect society or how much it will grow, but rather determining the competitive advantage of any given company and, above all, the durability of that advantage. The 3 most important words in investing are margin of safety. Our favorite holding period is forever. An investor should act as though he had a lifetime decision card with just 20 punches on it. Do not take yearly results too seriously. Instead, focus on 4 or 5-year averages. Why not invest your assets in the companies you really like? As Mae West said, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. The business schools reward difficult, complex behavior more than simple behavior, but simple behavior is more effective. There seems to be some perverse human characteristic that likes to make easy things difficult. The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect. You need a temperament that neither derives great pleasure from being with the crowd or against the crowd. Success in investing doesn't correlate with IQ. What you need is the temperament to control the urges that get other people into trouble in investing. The stock market is a no-called strike game. You don't have to swing at everything. You can wait for your pitch. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. Investing is not a game where the guy with the 160 IQ beats the guy with 130 IQ. What counts for most people in investing versus saving is not how much they know, but rather how realistically they define what they don't know. There is nothing wrong with a know-nothing investor who realizes it. The problem is when you are a know-nothing investor, but you think you know something. Forecasts may tell you a great deal about the forecaster. They tell you nothing about the future. Buy a stock the way you would buy a house. Understand and like it such that you'd be content to own it in the absence of any market. It's better to have a partial interest in the Hope Diamond than to own Oliver Rhinestone. You only have to be able to evaluate companies within your circle of competence. The size of that circle is not very important. Knowing its boundaries, however, is vital. Diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes little sense if you know what you are doing. Wide diversification is only required when investors do not understand what they are doing. Opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. We always live in an uncertain world. What is certain is that the United States will go forward over time. For 240 years, it's been a terrible mistake to bet against America, and now is no time to start. American business, and consequently a basket of stocks, is virtually certain to be worth far more in the years ahead. I won't say if my candidate doesn't win, and probably half the time they haven't. I'm going to take my ball and go home. Widespread fear is your friend as an investor because it serves up bargain purchases. Whether we're talking about socks or stocks, I like buying quality merchandise when it is marked down. The best thing that happens to us is when a great company gets into temporary trouble. We want to buy them when they're on the operating table. Most people get interested in stocks when everyone else is. The time to get interested is when no one else is. You can't buy what is popular and do well. Speculation is most dangerous when it looks easiest. Keep things simple and don't swing for the fences. When promised quick profits, respond with a quick no. Half of all coin flippers will win their first toss. None of those winners has an expectation of profit if he continues to play the game. The investor of today does not profit from yesterday's growth. What we learn from history is that people don't learn from history. If past history was all that is needed to play the game of money, the richest people would be librarians. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. You only have to do a very few things right in your life so long as you don't do too many things wrong. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Wall Street is the only place that people ride to in a Rolls Royce to get advice from those who take the subway. When trillions of dollars are managed by Wall Streeters charging high fees, it will usually be the managers who reap outsized profits, not the clients. Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. If you're in the luckiest 1% of humanity, you owe it to the rest of humanity to think about the other 99%. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. You've got to keep control of your time, and you can't unless you say no. You can't let people set your agenda in life. In the world of business, the people who are most successful are those who are doing what they love. It is not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. You know, you keep doing the same things, and you keep getting the same result over and over again. Tell me who your heroes are and I'll tell you who you'll turn out to be. The best thing I did was to choose the right heroes. Chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Investors should remember that excitement and expenses are their enemies. The most important investment you can make is in yourself. Read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. All of you can do it, but I guarantee not many of you will do it. One can best prepare themselves for the economic future by investing in your own education. If you study hard and learn at a young age, you will be in the best circumstances to secure your future. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. And do not forget to write your admirable comment.